Frederick Township Board of Supervisors regular monthly meeting, October 14th, 2021. Let's please stand for the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment period. Now, we have a lot of folks here tonight, so before we step into the public comment period, Chris, do you want to refresh everybody's mind on what the public comment period is?
Sure. So the public comment period is intended for items not on the agenda tonight. If you have a statement or information you'd like to share with the board, especially with such a full room, we'd like to keep it to 3 minutes. And we'd ask that the person who wants to speak during public comment come up to the podium so that everyone can respect your ability to take advantage of your time for speaking. Okay?
Yes. Also, state your name and your address as well, please. Okay. So, public comment. Who has a public comment? Dave in the back.
Take me less than a minute. My name's Dave Garlish.
Do you want to come up to the podium, or you don't have to?
Can anybody not hear me?
You're locked in.
I live on Becker Road
Okay.
in the township.
What's the address?
1519.
Okay, thank you.
It's come to my attention in the past 2 days, we're in the middle of the political cycle now for election day. There's a lot of us in this room that are running for office, myself included. There's a lot of work and energy that goes into running, putting out literature, putting up signs. And a day or two after signs are put up on Half Road, they disappeared overnight. That's just not cool. I'm bringing it to everybody's attention. Like I said, there's time, effort, money that goes into this. I just think we have much better things to do in the township without doing things like that.
Right.
And I believe there are legal repercussions if you're caught. So, but that's it.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comments? Going once? Oh.
Down here.
Hi, I'm Gwen Van Trieste. I live in the Ivy Ridge community, 149 Ivy Lane. I'm concerned about the issue of the potential of having residential building adjacent to our community, and the concept of adding them to our treatment plant and our roadways and our water plant. And that land was originally zoned commercial, I believe, is as it should be. I think the township needs to focus on commercial development rather than adding more residential units. We need to build up the tax base through commercial entities rather than residences. I'm also concerned that we are already having occasional issues with our treatment plant with just the homes that are currently hooked up to it, and to suggest a 64% increase in the capacity of the treatment plant does not seem to be sustainable to me. There are environmental, financial, etc. impacts of adding that many homes to the treatment plant. Also, the water plant, we have issues on occasion with water pressure and that sort of thing. And again, adding homes to the existing utilities that are available to our community is, I don't see that as a sustainable solution to what to do with that land. So I know there's other people here from our community. They may want to add more to my comments, but that's all I wanted to say.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Sure. On that topic, I'd just like to share that if we do get an applicant in, they will have to apply for a rezoning, and notice would be given to all the neighbors within a certain distance.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd also encourage everyone to keep an eye on planning commission agendas. They're usually posted a few days before the meeting, and when we do get an application in, that will be the first place it will go.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep, thank you.
Okay. Any other public comments? Going once, going twice. Go ahead.
Marie Tellerico. I am from 117 Ivy Lane. here in Zieglerville. So the development will be behind our property as well. When they built additional properties right here in the nursing home, a lot of the homes had damages with glass being broken, pipes being busted, cement being cracked, because the land they dig into is mainly rock. And they had to explode a lot of that out. And it caused a lot of damage to the properties. I'm sure a lot of flooded basements.
Which were never an
okay.
issue before.
It caused a lot of issues for people in that neighborhood. Again, you know, adding on to what Gwen had, I believe it'll be, you know, a big problem with our neighborhood.
And when, just thank you for your comment. When was this blasting taking place?
2 years ago?
It was a little longer than that.
Maybe 3.
This is with the, home.
Yeah, the cottages.
Cottages.
Yeah.
Frederick,
Yeah.
Frederick community,
Okay,
Frederick living.
okay, thank you. Good to know. Any other comments? Going once? Going twice? Okay, public comments are complete. Thank you. Okay. Minutes, September 9th, 2021, Board of Supervisors meeting. Have a chance to review these meetings? Yep. The minutes? Any comments? Okay. Motion to approve the September 9th, 2021 Board of Supervisors meeting minutes.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Treasurer's report, bills to be paid.
I apologize. All right. So before you, you have the treasurer's report. The total disbursements for the month of September was $111,255.30. Of that, $89,159.95 was to vendors. The remaining amounts were for payroll and benefits. The report does include all fund budgets, income reports, statements of cash balances, and the tax collector's report. I will actually, if I can just make one note that did come up. We do every year have in our budget a donation to 2 libraries, one in Boyertown, one in Norristown. The Boyertown donation is annually $500, and the Norristown has traditionally been $1,300. That $1,300 is more because historically they've had the bookmobile here at the township property. They recently, one of the buses that they use for the bookmobile recently broke down. It wasn't feasible for them to repair it, so they had to consolidate, so they no longer have a bookmobile stop in our township. It got moved to New Hanover Township. They did indicate that, they told me that they notified their frequent users of the bookmobile so that they were able to know that it was over at New Hanover now. But it did raise a question as to whether or not you wanted to continue donating the $1,300 to Norristown Library, or if you wanted to cut that back or redistribute. It's something you can think about if you want, or you can give us some direction. But at this point, we haven't sent out that payment yet,
Okay.
just in case you wanted to change it.
Yeah, I think we should think about it. The reason is because if we don't have access to this bookmobile, I mean, obviously we have access to Boyertown, but we want to consider for giving out support to WIT. There's other libraries in the area, right? So we might want to think about where that goes. So we'll table that for now and think about what we should do. Okay?
Yep.
Do we have any questions or comments on the treasurer's report? Okay. I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report as presented and file for audit. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Payment of bills.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, for your disbursements, there's a total of $89,159.95 that needs to be dispersed.
Okay. All right. I make a motion to approve payment of the bills and to advance to the treasurer the funds to pay any needed bills or expenditures, to save penalties, or accrue interest and payroll prior to the board supervisor meeting on November 11th, 2021. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Emergency services.
In your packet, we have reports from Plymouth Community Ambulance and the fire company summarizing their activity. Plymouth Community Ambulance had 17 calls, 11 of which were at Frederick Living. And the fire company, I believe, had a pretty busy month with the happenings of the storm and Turkey on the crossing.
We're good? Yeah. It's the same like so nothing from the community, ambulance, Harleysville, fire company, activity, current events. Ted, did you have anything?
We had 20 calls
Okay.
for the month, and just to let everybody know also, this weekend we're doing a fundraiser right down by Bella Cucina Pizzeria at Straight Shooters. We're doing a gun raffle on Saturday from 12 to 3.
Sorry, Tom, I didn't see you standing there. Did you have any comments on this?
No, no problem. 17 calls, 184 for the year.
Okay, thank you. Water sewer plant report, Perkiomen Crossings and sewer plant Ivy Ridge.
Like to report, no violations. And you can see by the flows of the storm, the first and second was pretty interesting, but we were very lucky, no violations, no overflows.
Okay.
So, everything is good.
Good, thank you. Public Works road report.
The report will be posted in the back. Hopefully, I'm excited to say that our mowing season has come to an end. Fortunately, now it's time for us to get ready for our snow events that will be coming. I'm excited to say that our road project started for 2021. So that got kicked off, which I believe our engineer will say something about. But that got kicked off beginning of the week, which I'm excited about. If we moved you down there to the equipment, Peterbilt 10-wheeler went in to get the pins replaced on the paper off. And unloading the stone. The utility truck was a bad cylinder. That was actually a warranty job. And the John Deere, which was an expensive fix, is because the exhaust valve went on it due to age and rust. It needed to get replaced. Other than that, everything runs smooth.
Okay, thank you. All right. Environmental engineer's report.
Alrighty, the report's been posted, distributed. The, for Perk Crossing wastewater treatment plant, I'm just waiting for a schedule from the contractors to do the work that has been approved for the connection of the air line to the spare EQ tank, replacing the air diffusers in the final tank, replacing the check valves on the effluent line, and putting the level sensor in the sodium bisulfite tank. Everything else looking good, running well. Water system, everything's running good with that. We completed the hydrant testing, and the reports have been submitted on that. Everything was looking good there according to spec with the hydrants. Ivy Ridge, nothing major there. No repairs ongoing after everything we'd done last year with replacing the piping with stainless steel and getting all that upgraded and pumps upgraded. So things smooth there. And we have had no further communication from Fred Ebert there for the Hendricks development.
Okay, good, thank you. Engineer's report.
Okay, LTL has updated the engineer's report for the month of October. We did send it over to the township after a reminder from the township manager to be able to get that into your report. And as Steve had indicated, other items on the engineer's report really are there as placeholders. There's not really a whole lot of activity going on. But as far as the 2021 road project, we did kick that off. It involves 4 roads: Perkiomen, Huntsberger, Brookside, and the township parking area, municipal service area, that kind of thing. And we started with replacing the cross pipe on Perkiomen Ave. That went well. Also replaced another small pipe down on Perkiomen Ave near the cul-de-sac. Did some base repairs. Road's pretty rough right now, but it will get overlaid as the finished part of that project. And then we did some exploratory digging over on Huntsberger. We're having some issues with what PA1 calls marking. We marked it out to do the design, contractor had to mark it out when they did their work, and they marked that at 2 different locations. So fortunately, we've got enough, let's say, and it wasn't even close. It was like 3 to 5 feet off, and when you're trying to get a pipe in there, it's not exactly good. But we've got enough fluff or movement in the right of way where we can move it back to where we originally designed it when we moved it for the initial conflict. So there's a lot of pipe sitting in the bulb of, cul-de-sac bulb of Huntsberger. And then the double seal coat happened on the pot lot out here. And we just started on the slope pipe on Brookside, which actually, that's good to note. We had an easement prepared, David prepared the easement, we secured an easement from a property owner to take the slope pipe down to dewater an area that the roadmaster had indicated wasn't draining. It really, there was no way for the water to escape, so we put that in, and we have the easement in place. And what had happened is when we laid the easement out, there were a couple of pretty significant trees in the area that if we had followed where the easement was, because we didn't locate trees, we just show an area because there's plenty of flexibility for locating the pipe. But both of the property owners on either side of the property line were interested in keeping as many trees as we can. So what we wound up doing is shifting the end wall, I'll say about 20 feet, maybe 15 to 20 feet, actually onto a neighboring property that we didn't have an easement for, okay? I asked Tracy, she was able to kind of track down a phone number. I talked to the property owner who's currently away from home right now. He'll be back on Sunday, and explained the situation. They were fine with it, so I told her, I said, you know, paperwork to follow to make sure that they're covered, the township's covered, and she had no issue. She was more interested in not removing trees, because any of the brush, that was one of the reasons that locating the property line was difficult as well. But the brush is so thick and so high that once we put that in and backfill the pipe, in 2 to 3 years, it's going to be blown back up the way it is now, and you won't know it's there. So the property owner's fine, we'll get the paperwork in order.
You won't be getting an easement?
Yes, yeah. I got verbal confirmation from her tonight. She had no problems with it at all, and then we're going to move forward with putting that in. Like I said, it's really, from the elbow of the pipe, it was only a shift. It's actually about 8 feet onto her property, and explained the situation, and she was fine. Okay, so that's really the extent of the engineer's report. I can answer any questions that you might have, but yes, by this time next month, you'll notice all kinds of stuff going on in the township building area, Huntsberger, so on and so forth, and we keep both Steve and Tracy in the loop.
Okay.
Okay?
Good. Questions, comments? Building inspector and zoning report.
So the building inspector, zoning officer's report is in your packet. There were 3 minor permits in the month of September and 12 inspections. And we do have a list of some ongoing zoning issues, but the zoning officer has done a real good job trying to get folks into compliance, and he's got people working on kind of some phased compliance on some of the bigger issues. So they're kind of incrementally taking care of their concerns. So that seems to be moving along well.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Planning Commission.
The planning commission meeting for September was canceled.
Okay. Regional Planning Commission.
That occurred via Zoom. It was, the counties who staffed that meeting has changed recently, so the new person is kind of getting up to speed. But it was really kind of more of the same of the last few meetings, talking about there's a new app and software for the Perkiomen Trail, trying to kind of identify resources along there that you could load onto your phone and use along the trail. So the county's trying to work on that with the Regional Planning Commission. Additionally, the meeting was after the big storm Ida, and so a lot of our discussion at the last meeting was how, on a regional basis, can we try to come up with some ways to help property owners work on their property to sort of prepare for larger storm events, more rainwater, because everybody is getting hit harder and harder by these stormwater situations. And you know, maybe if we can come up with kind of some regional resources that could be shared with property owners, that could be helpful. So the county staff is gonna go back and look into that and see if maybe we can come up with some materials that could be put on the website and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Parks and Recreation Board?
Okay, on September 18th, our park board, Lower Frederick and Upper Salford held the Movie on the Mountain at Spring Mountain. That was on September 18th. We had about, 75 to 100 vehicles show up, I guess 4 people per vehicle or so. So the turnout was pretty good, it was about 300. September 21st, we held our last meeting. We discussed the Stomp Trail Run that we want to plan for next year. Loosely, we picked the 9th as a date to have it. So that's tentative for right now. So that's in the planning stages. Our next park board meeting is on October 19th. And I think we're scheduled to clean the kayaks out too. Thanks, Lisa.
All right. Old business. Christmas tree lighting, 2021.
So, at your last meeting, there was a discussion about whether or not we should have the tree lighting ceremony this year. I was asked to go look into finding if Santa and Mrs. Claus was available, and Ron indicated that they could be available. He says they're all taken care of. One thing also that came up was whether or not we should be having people in the building, and one suggestion was that maybe what we do is hold it out at the pavilion, have Santa and Mrs. Claus outside of the pavilion, and possibly find a pine tree of some sort that we could plant out there, and that could be our Christmas tree, and then we can let that grow, and for now it would be more manageable, right, Steve? And the nice thing about that is we would try to keep all the activities there so that we wouldn't have people over here for a tree lighting and then over there for, you know, the Santa event. So we can kind of have that more contained space. So if that sounds okay, we can look into a tree, and I can work with the Parks Board about maybe a location. That sounds all right, and Steve, of course.
Right.
Thanks, Val.
Okay. Sure.
Make a motion to authorize Christmas tree lighting event Sunday, December 5th, 2021, 6:45 p.m. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Hazardous tree removal in right-of-way, Township line, Mouse Road.
So this is a ongoing challenge. We've been contacted by a couple property owners about dead trees that they have within the right-of-way, and you know, there's this, and we know that there are a lot of trees that are dead along the rights-of-ways, and so we really need to start thinking about whether or not this is going to be the responsibility of the abutting property owner, or whether or not the township is prepared to take on the removal of key hazardous trees in the right-of-way. At this point, you know, I've talked to other municipalities. Some require the abutting property owner to maintain the trees. Others have taken on that responsibility and created a budget. At this point, I would suggest that maybe we hold off till next month when we actually have a draft budget for next year, so we have an idea if it's something we could even fit into our budget. But that